Hey, it's Vicki popping in for just a moment of a conversation about what happens when people experience toxic workplaces. Some of the clients I work with are currently either experiencing working in a toxic work environment or being in a toxic relationship. And in coaching, we work together with how they can, number one, heal from those situations that really, truly hurt people's confidence and so much. And then how can they move on beyond those conversations? And just in the last couple weeks, I've seen some posts on Facebook and read some articles about people who are currently experiencing toxic situations. And so I wanted to pop in and just have a conversation here about, what do I recommend when I come across a client who is in a toxic situation? How do you deal with it? And there's three things I wanted to share with you today. And the first one is one that probably is maybe a little counterintuitive to what you might think. But the first one is actually to focus and work on yourself, turn that conversation inward to say, what is this showing me that I as a person need to grow and work on? And if it's somebody who's in a toxic work environment, most likely, not all the time, but most likely they've probably also been in some other type of a toxic situation in their life that has kind of made them have a tolerance level for being and staying in a toxic situation. So in that circumstance, what I work on with people is how to rebuild their self-confidence, how to set boundaries, how to start to know the difference between what's healthy behavior and what's not. We work on communication. As a lot of those things right there influence keeping us stuck in toxic situations. So that's number one, work on yourself as an individual to grow. Number two is start making your game plan on how to leave that environment. So I say it's a game plan because of two things. One, we don't want to just jump from one spot to the other without a plan in place or having really thought through what it is that we want out of life. And sometimes that takes some work to do. And two, if this is a situation where you have been attracting a similar type of a situation over and over, then we don't want you just to jump from this situation to the next one and attract yet another situation that is similar, just with different circumstances. And you've probably experienced that in your life in one way or another. So the thing that we need to do is, while we're making the plan to leave, also continuing to look at what we need to do as an individual. So back to number one, in strengthening ourselves as an individual so that we don't re-attract the same circumstance again. And number three is we can look to see what can we influence in the culture while we're there. So that's an opportunity to look at how can you be the change in the culture. It might be too massive to think that you can actually change the culture, but you might be able to change your little area of the culture. You might be able to change that bubble, that 20-foot bubble around you. So those are the three things that I recommend when I'm working with someone who's come from either a toxic relationship or a toxic work environment, or it could be a toxic religious situation. There's so many different ways, a toxic family situation, so many ways that we engage in toxic relationships in our world. So just a quick recap. Number one is, if you find yourself in that space, then looking at what do you need to work on as an individual so that you can actually never have to experience these situations again. Number 2 is start making your exit plan from the situation. And number 3, be the change as much as you can be within the situation that you're living in. Because if you're living in it, there's other people living in it as well, and they might need to be looking to you for some light and some opportunity to shift their world. Okay, hope those 3 tips were helpful today, and I will look forward to talking to you another day. Bye-bye.